Normally when I sculpt a portrait, it's me in a room with the model with minimum distractions. This project with dictations and monologues was quite different. I was in someone else's space, their place of business, and in front of a large shop window on a busy East End high street with many distractions of customers walking in and out, staff leaving, noise. I suppose the biggest challenge for me initially was getting comfortable within that environment and being able to concentrate on the model and the lump of clay before me. I positioned the sculpture and the model on more or less the same height and mirrored the angle of both of them so that whenever I step back to observe, I can see them on more or less equal terms. I had agreed with the model to sculpt in 25-minute segments and then we'd break for 5 minutes at a time. At first I'm establishing the profile, so I'm looking at one side of his face for a long period and concentrating on the contour line using negative space between his different features, so from nose to mouth or ridge of nose to forehead, pit of neck to chin, and observing those line breaks. Then within that contour I'm also drawing the features, so making a mark with a wooden tool or a knife and constantly reassessing distances between feature and contour using abstract shapes. Then I'll eventually begin to move around the model or position the model so that I can observe from all angles, so both profiles, the front and the back, and then eventually 3/4 angles. Sculpting a portrait in front of a shop window, you're inviting people to respond. You're inviting people to offer their opinions, and sure enough, people did. I think I was only a few hours in on the first day and there was a guy that came in the shop and said that it was rubbish and it looked nothing like him. And then there were other people that came in and complimented it and were very positive. I remember seeing a lot of school kids gather outside and just watch and observe for a while. There were customers coming in and out throughout the day. Some would stand in silence and watch for a few minutes, and other customers would come in and make their inquiry, ignore that we were there, like it was normal. Found that quite funny. I would normally take a few measurements from the model as a reference, but in this case I didn't, and I think it's probably a bit out of proportion because of that, a bit larger. Looking back on it, I'd say that I probably worked a bit quicker than I normally would, and that's probably a response to the environment that I was in. I think in total it was probably about 16 hours on the portrait I spent. If I'd continued sculpting a portrait, I'd probably carry on redefining the form and the contour lines.